Hello and welcome to National Park Wild. I'm Eric, and I have been working on some videos about my Alaska trip over the summer, but first, I wanted to make this video on a park I went to just recently, River Gorge National Park and Preserve in West Virginia. This is a very, very new park, as it was designated this year. It used to be a national river, and it is most famous for the River Gorge Bridge, a large arched bridge that goes over a beautiful gorge of forest and the new river, of course. And it is a nice park. But how does it stack up against others, especially other new ones? Let's talk about the experience and maybe a few tips along the way. So first of all, when we arrived at the park, our first stop was at the bridge. This is the main site, and it's really cool to walk up toward the bridge and look at it. It is quite a nice site. Even though it is a man-made site, which isn't typically my thing in a national park, I thought it was really cool to look at. I really enjoyed it. And it is a very beautiful nature gorge surrounding it. And that is pretty fun. That said, there were some things I liked more in the park. The first thing being trails. The trails are great. Endless Wall Trail is the first one I did. And you have a bunch of rocks sort of jutting out from the gorge in a different area, going for a really long distance, and that's why it's called the Endless Wall. And along the trail, we saw a large black rat snake, which is a very interesting wildlife sighting. I don't normally see many snakes in national parks, so I did enjoy that. The hike was relatively easy, and there are a lot of easy but also a few more difficult backcountry type hikes in this park, and I do enjoy that. So good variety in hiking and plenty of recreational activities you can do, and that's a big benefit of this park. The other trail that we did the first day was even better, in my opinion, and that's Long Point Trail. Long Point goes to a different overlook of the bridge, where you are facing directly toward it, because you're kind of in the middle of the gorge, with the river on either side of you, on an overlook. It's a really cool sight, and I definitely enjoyed that. So that was really, really cool, and driving through the park is interesting, as you kind of have to go in and out to get from place to place. And unlike parks like, say, Hot Springs, which have terrible, cheesy tourist towns near them, this one is full of small houses and some tiny rustic city areas that are really just small towns and villages. I quite like that charming feel that the park gives off. It's a lot less the surrounding area like a commercial hub, but rather just a place where people would go and retreat for a couple days. It's really, really nice, and I enjoy that a lot. And honestly, as far as eastern parks go, the scenery is pretty good. We went to Sandstone Falls after that. That's a very cool place. It's really just part of the river, but the amount of height that the water has to fall, it is really a waterfall. So it's really cool. Seeing it from different angles is great. And we saw deer later in the park, and all in all, I enjoyed all of this. River Gorge is a good park. The wildlife is decent. The scenery, especially given that this is an eastern national park, is very pretty. And the iconic bridge is a cool sight. The hikes are pretty strong. And while it's far from my favorite national park, it is good. It's hard to be one of my favorites, though. And given that the east is mostly just forest, while I prefer a mountain or desert per se, I really enjoyed this park, and I definitely think it earned its national park status. Now if only we could get Devil's Tower and Dinosaur to be national parks. That's going to be the whole video. Thank you for watching. I know it was pretty short, but I just wanted to get my thoughts on River Gorge out there. Definitely a worthwhile park to visit, especially if you're not too far away or driving by. I'll see you next time.